Hello friends, welcome to Prashant IAS. So friends, in the last class we were discussing about budget, or we can also call it as annual financial statement, and in this class we will continue our discussion further. So friends, in the last class I told you that if the budget is being presented by the Government of India in the month of February 2021, then that budget will consist of three things. The first thing is the actual report of receipts and expenditure of Government of India in financial year 2019-2020. After that, the estimated report of expenditure and receipts of Government of India in financial year 2020-2021. And the third thing is the proposal of expenditure and receipts of Government of India in financial year 2021-2022. Now friends, financial year 2019-2020 has already been passed. Means the complete data is available for this financial year. So what Government of India will do, that Government of India will prepare an exact and actual report, and Government of India will submit that report to the Parliament. Okay, so what is the work of government? That government will prepare an actual report because the complete data is available, and government will submit that report to Parliament. Now friends, now let us discuss about financial year 2020-2021. So in the last class I told you that for this financial year the data of 10 months is already available and the data of 2 months is awaited. Okay, for the month of February and for the month of March. So 2 months data is awaited and 10 months data is available. So what government will do? Government will make an estimated report. Government will make an estimated report and then government will submit that report to the Parliament. But friends, this financial year means financial year 2021-2022, or we can also call it as the coming financial year. This financial year is very important. It is most important. Why? Because the Government of India has actually prepared the proposal for expenditures and receipts which Government of India will receive in financial year 2021-2022. Okay, so this is future financial year. This is coming financial year. Okay, we can also say that this is the future of India. This is coming financial year. So Government of India has prepared the proposal for the expenditures which Government of India will do in the coming financial year, and Government of India has prepared a proposal for the receipts which Government of India will receive in this coming financial year. Okay, and there is a need that Parliament should pass. Okay, there is a need that the proposal of expenditure and the proposal of this receipt should be passed by the Parliament. Okay, so this means that this financial year is very important. The work of this financial year means financial year 2019-2020. It's already over. Similarly, the work of this financial year means 2020-2021. It is also almost over because only 2 months are left. 10 months have already been passed. But this is coming financial year. This is the future of India. This is that financial year for which the government has prepared the proposal for expenditure and receipts. And there is a need that these expenditure and receipts should be passed by the Parliament. So friends, now in this class we will discuss about the coming financial year. Why? Because both of these financial year are actually over. Okay, and government has also submitted the report to the Parliament. But this is the coming financial year. So now we will discuss exclusively about this financial year in today's class. So friends, in the last class I told you that budget actually consists of two things. Okay, or we can also say that there are two parts of budget: expenditure and receipts. Now what is the meaning of expenditure? Expenditure means all the expenditure which will be done by the Government of India. Okay, for example, how much money Government of India will spend in healthcare, in the construction of hospital, in paying salary to doctors and nurses, in buying medicines. Okay, how much money Government of India will spend in coming financial year in the construction of highways, how much money Government of India will spend in coming financial year for policing, how much money Government of India will spend in coming financial year for education. Okay, so expenditure means how much money Government of India will spend. And what is the meaning of receipts? So receipts means source of income for Government of India. Receipt means the money which Government of India will receive. For example, Government of India receives money from tax. government of India also earns profit, and there are many other sources of money for government of India. So friends, what happens that the expenditure part of budget is contained in a bill which is known as appropriation bill. Okay, so you can see on the screen, I have written it for you. So the expenditure part of budget, this entire expenditure part of budget means the expenditure done by the government of India, it is actually contained in a bill. A bill is proposed in the parliament. It is contained in a bill which is known as appropriation bill. And the receipt part of budget is contained in a bill which is known as finance bill. Okay, so now you can say that basically budget consists of two bills. Okay, so now you can say, you can now talk in terms of technical language. Now you can say that budget basically consists of two things. The first thing is appropriation bill and the second thing is finance bill. Now what is the meaning of appropriation bill? So appropriation bill means all the expenditures done by government of India are contained in this appropriation bill. And what is the meaning of finance bill? So now you can say that all the receipts of government of India means the money received by government of India is contained in this finance bill. Now friends, this finance bill basically contains all the taxes which are imposed by government of India. Okay, because tax is a very potent source of revenue for the government of India. Okay, so what happens that there are many taxes. There are many taxes in India which are needed to be renewed every year by the parliament. Okay, means government cannot impose these taxes for very long term. So basically what happens that there are two type of taxes. The first one is temporary tax and the second one is permanent tax. Okay, so now you can say that taxes are of two type, temporary tax and permanent tax. Now what is the meaning of this temporary tax and what is the meaning of permanent tax? So permanent tax means the tax which are permanently levied. The taxes which are permanently levied means there is no need of renewing these taxes again and again by parliament. Okay, once these taxes are approved by the parliament, now they are applied forever. Now there is no need to renew these taxes again and again. And there is one type of taxes which are known as temporary taxes. So temporary taxes are those taxes which are levied for only 1 year period, and there is a need to renew these taxes again and again by the parliament. Okay, so if parliament will not renew these taxes, then government cannot levy these taxes on us. Okay, so temporary taxes are those taxes which are renewed every year by the parliament. So what happens that this finance bill basically contains these temporary taxes which are needed to be renewed by the parliament. For example, we can say that income tax. Okay, so many a times I have given you the example of income tax. Income tax is basically a temporary tax. Why? Because government cannot levy the income tax for a very long term. There is a need that this income tax should be renewed every year by the parliament. Okay, so what government does, when the finance bill is prepared, then all the taxes, means all the temporary taxes which are needed to be renewed by the parliament, they are included in this finance bill so that they can be renewed by the parliament. Okay, now friends, here government of India can change the amount of tax. Okay, means government can increase the amount of tax, means the percentage of tax, and government can also decrease the amount of tax. Okay, similarly government can remove one particular type of tax. Okay, so for example, if government do not want to levy one particular type of tax on the citizens or on the individuals, then government can remove that tax. Similarly, if government want to introduce any new tax, okay, then government can also introduce that new tax through this finance bill. Similarly friends, if government want to make any adjustment in any permanent tax means the taxes which are in which there is no need to get them renewed again and again by the parliament. So if government want any adjustment in the permanent tax, adjustment means, for example, if government wants to increase the rate of any permanent tax, for example, if government want to decrease the rate of any permanent tax, then government can also include that adjustment of permanent tax in this finance bill. Okay, so what is the matter of finance bill, or now can you tell me that what is contained in this finance bill? So now you can say that sir, finance bill basically contains the taxes. Okay, then you can say that sir, taxes can be divided into two categories, permanent taxes and temporary taxes. Permanent taxes are those taxes which are levied on the permanent basis, means there is no need to renew them every year. And temporary taxes are those taxes in which there is a need to renew them every year by the parliament. So what happens in finance bill, that if government want to introduce a new tax, then government will introduce that tax through this finance bill. Similarly, if government want to remove a temporary tax, then government will not include that temporary tax in the finance bill. For example, friends, let's suppose if a particular type of tax was levied by the government of India in the last financial year, and in this financial year government does not want to levy that tax on the individuals of the country, then okay, and now that was the temporary tax, so there was a need to renew that tax again by the parliament. So if government will not include that tax in finance bill this year, then that tax will automatically be removed. Okay, so through this finance bill government can levy new tax by simply introducing these new taxes in the finance bill. If government want to remove a previous tax, then government can do so by not including that tax in the finance bill. Similarly, government will include all the temporary taxes in the finance bill which government wants to get renewed by the parliament. Okay, for example, income tax in India is renewed every year by the Parliament of India. Now government can also make desired adjustment in these temporary taxes. For example, government can increase the rate of temporary tax, government can decrease the rate of temporary tax. Okay, now what government can do with permanent tax? So let's suppose if government want to decrease the rate of permanent tax, then government can easily decrease it. If government want to increase the rate, then government can also increase it. Means government can make adjustment in the permanent taxes through this finance bill. So what is the matter of finance bill? So the finance bill basically contains all the taxes which government of India wants to levy in the coming financial year. Now friends, after this, let us discuss about appropriation bill. So what is contained in this appropriation bill, or what is the matter of this appropriation bill? So you can divide this appropriation bill further into two parts. Okay, the first part of the appropriation bill is called as charged expenditure. So the first part of appropriation bill is charged expenditure, and the second part of appropriation bill is called as demand for grants. Okay. Now what is the meaning of this charge expenditure and what is the meaning of this demand for grants? So now there is a need to discuss separately about both these type of expenditures. Charge expenditure is also a type of expenditure and demand for grants is also a type of expenditure, and both of these expenditures are actually contained in appropriation bill. Okay, so now we need to discuss about charge expenditure and demand for grant in detail. So friends, what is the meaning of demand for grant? So now let us discuss about it in detail. So I will explain you this concept with the help of an example. So let's suppose friends, there is a ministry, let's say health ministry. Okay. So what happens that in India, this health ministry is basically known as Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Okay. So now I will not take this long name again and again. Okay, so I will only use the name Health Ministry, but the official name of Health Ministry in India is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So friends, okay, so let's suppose there is a ministry known as Health Ministry. Now Health Ministry needs a lot of money for construction of health infrastructure in India. Okay, for example, for providing the healthcare facilities, there is a need to build hospitals. Okay, so first of all, there is a need to build the building of hospitals. Okay, because without building, where the doctors will give treatment to patients. After that, there will be a need of doctors. Okay, there will be a need of doctors. Okay, because only doctors will treat the patients. After doctors, there will be a need of different type of medical equipments. After that, there will be a need of medicines. Okay, and lot many other things are also needed. Okay, so it means that health ministry will have to spend a lot of money for providing healthcare facility to India. Okay, so because definitely there will be a need of lot of money in the construction of buildings. Doctors also need a very good salary, then only they will treat the patients. Government has to spend money in buying equipments, in buying beds, in buying medicines. Okay, so now what happens? So now what health ministry will do, that health ministry will make an estimate that this much amount of money we will need in the construction of hospitals, this much amount of money we will need in paying salary to doctors, this much amount of money will be need in buying medicines and equipments and all other things. Okay, now let's suppose health ministry made an estimate that we need 2663 crore rupees. Okay, so let's suppose health ministry made an estimate that we need 2663 crore rupees for giving very good health infrastructure to our country. Okay, so now the question is, from where this money will come? From where this money will come? So friends, now remember I told you in the class when I was teaching you Consolidated Fund of India that the Consolidated Fund of India is the biggest and the regular fund of Government of India. Okay, so Consolidated Fund of India is the biggest fund of Government of India. Okay, so now there are chances that Health Ministry can take this much amount of money from Consolidated Fund of India. But remember friends, in the class of Consolidated Fund, I also told you that no money can be withdrawn. Okay, so I told you that Consolidated Fund of India is placed at the disposal of Parliament. Okay, so now can you remember I told you that Consolidated Fund of India is placed at the disposal of Parliament. So this means that no money can be withdrawn from Consolidated Fund of India, or no money can be deposited in Consolidated Fund of India without the permission of Parliament. Okay, so here what is happening, that Health Ministry is in need of 2663 crore rupees. This is a very big amount of money. So from where Health Ministry will arrange this money? So definitely one and only source is Consolidated Fund of India. But I have told you that if Health Ministry wants to withdraw money from Consolidated Fund of India, then it needs the permission of Parliament. Without the permission of Parliament, no money can be withdrawn from Consolidated Fund of India. So now what Health Ministry will do, that Health Ministry will make an estimate. Okay, Health Ministry will make an estimate. So Health Ministry will make an estimate, and then Health Ministry will give that estimate to the Finance Minister, or we can also say to the Finance Ministry. Okay. Now Finance Ministry will make an proposal. So what Finance Ministry will do? Finance Ministry will make an proposal that Health Ministry is in the need of 2663 crore rupees. Okay, and Health Ministry needs this much amount of money for the development of health infrastructure in India, for the construction of hospitals, for giving salary to doctors. Okay, and then this proposal will be presented to Parliament. Okay, this proposal will be presented to Parliament in the budget. Okay, so when budget is presented to Parliament, so with the budget this proposal is presented to Parliament. This proposal is presented to the Parliament. So this proposal is also a part of budget. Okay, so we can also say that this proposal is also a part of budget. So what will happen, that Finance Minister will take the demand of all other ministers, because Home Ministry will also need money, Defense Ministry will also need money, and all other ministries will also need money. Okay, so Finance Minister will take the demand of all the ministries, and then Finance Minister will make a proposal. Okay, and then this proposal will be presented before the Parliament, that Health Ministry needs this much amount of money, Defense Ministry needs this much amount of money, Home Ministry needs this much amount of money. So this demand by a particular ministry, this demand of money by a particular ministry is known as demand for grant. Okay, and money will only be money can only be withdrawn by the Consolidated Fund of India when this demand for grant will be approved by the Parliament. Okay, so what is demand for grant? So this demand of money by a particular ministry. For example, I told you that Health Ministry demanded 2663 crore rupees. So this demand of money by the Health Ministry is known as demand for grant. Similarly, Home Ministry will also demand some amount of money. It will be also called as demand for grant. Defense Ministry will also demand some amount of money. It will be also called as demand for grant. So demand for grant is basically the money which is demanded by one particular ministry for its work in the coming financial year. So friends, now let us discuss about charged expenditures. So what is the meaning of charge expenditure, or what is charge expenditure? So charge expenditures are those expenditures which are permanently charged on Consolidated Fund of India. Now what is the meaning of this statement? That these expenditures are permanently charged on the consolidated fund of India. So friends, what happens that I told you that what happens in the case for any demand for grant. Okay, so let's suppose if any demand for grant is made by any ministry. Okay, so that proposal or that demand for grant will be presented before the parliament. Okay, so that demand for grant will be first of all presented before the parliament. So what will happen, that the discussion will go on for the demand for grant in the parliament. Okay, so the members of parliament will discuss that whether the money which is demanded by this ministry is correct or not. Okay, whether ministry has not demanded more money, whether the amount demanded by the ministry is correct, or ministry is demanding a very high amount which is even not needed. Okay, so what happens, that the discussion goes on in parliament about this demand for grant. Okay, and after the discussion the voting goes on, and once this demand for grant is approved by the parliament, so what happens after discussion, the voting goes on, and after voting, if this demand for grant is approved by the parliament, then only the ministry will get the money. Okay, so a ministry has made a demand for grant, so there will be a discussion regarding the demand for grant in the parliament. Members of parliament will discuss that whether this demand is correct or not, whether the ministry is demanding correct money or the ministry is demanding much higher amount. Okay, or whether ministry will use this amount correctly or not. So what will happen, that the discussion will go on in parliament, and after discussion then voting will take place. Okay, and after voting, if this demand for grant is approved by the parliament, if this demand for grant is passed by the parliament, then only the ministry will get the money. But friends, this is not the case with charged expenditure. So what happens in charged expenditure, that the discussion, okay, that what happens, that the discussion can go on in parliament regarding charged expenditure also. Means members of parliament can discuss about any charged expenditure. But friends, no voting can take place regarding any charged expenditure. Means members of parliament do not have the power to give their vote to any charged expenditure. What does it mean? It means that charged expenditures are passed in parliament without any voting. Okay, so now you will say that, sir, how this can happen? Okay, no voting is taking place. No voting is taking place, then how can you say that these charged expenditures are passed? So this means that there is no need of passing these charged expenditures by the parliament. They are permanently charged. So this is the meaning of permanently charged. Permanently charged means there is no need that these expenditures should be passed by parliament. Why? Because no voting takes place in parliament regarding the charged expenditures. Member of parliament has the power to discuss about these charged expenditures, but they do not have the power to give their vote on charged expenditure. So these are passed without any voting, and these are passed without any voting means there is no need to pass these charged expenditures in the parliament. It means that they are of permanent nature and they are permanently charged on the consolidated fund of India. There is no need that parliament should pass them. Now friends, after this you can ask question that which expenditures can be called as charge expenditures, or which expenditures comes under charge expenditure. So here is a list in front of you. So we can say that the salary and allowances of the officers like President, Chairman and Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha, Judges of Supreme Court, etc. Okay, so there are certain officers like President, like the Chairman of Rajya Sabha, like the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha, Judges of Supreme Court, whose salary and allowances is kept under charged expenditure. Means there is no need of voting in parliament for the salaries of these officers because they are permanently charged on consolidated fund of India. Okay, they are permanently charged on consolidated fund of India. There is no need of voting in the parliament. They are passed in parliament without voting. Okay. Okay, after that there are other expenditures also. For example, the debt charges for which the government of India is responsible. Okay, so if government has taken loan, if government has taken debt from any other country or any other institution, and if government of India is liable, if government of India is responsible for these debt charges, then it will also come under charge expenditure. So there are many other expenditures also which comes under charge expenditure. Okay, and there is one more very important thing, that what happens, that Parliament of India has the power to declare any other expenditure by law as the charge expenditure. Okay, now what does it mean? It means that if Parliament of India wants, then Parliament can declare any other expenditure also as charge expenditure, but Parliament can do so by making a law. Okay, so Parliament by making a law can declare any other expenditure as charged expenditure. Now friends, the next question is that why there is no need of voting for charge expenditure, or why some expenditures are declared as charge expenditure. So now this is very important and analytical topic. So now let us discuss about it. So what happens friends, that we know that Parliament is basically dominated by the political parties. Okay, means the member of different political parties are there in the Parliament. Okay, now friends, there are some institutions whose autonomy is very important for maintaining the democracy in India. For example, the President of India. For example, the Speaker of Lok Sabha. For example, the Chairman of Rajya Sabha. For example, the officers in court, the judges of court. Okay, so these are the officers whose autonomy is very important for maintaining of democracy in India. Now we know that political parties are very controversial. So there was a fear that political parties can make a pressure on these officers and they can dilute the autonomy of these officers. So what happened, that Constitution of India has placed some expenditures which beyond the reach of these controversial political parties, so that these political parties cannot bargain, cannot dilute the autonomy of these offices. Okay, so the salary and allowances of these autonomous officers is kept beyond the reach of controversial political parties. Okay, so this was the logic behind keeping some expenditures as charged expenditures, so that political parties cannot blackmail, cannot bargain with any officer, cannot dilute the autonomy of those offices whose autonomy is very essential for the maintenance of democracy in India, for the maintenance of democracy in India. So the salary and allowances of these officers is just kept beyond the reach of controversial political parties, that even they do not have right to vote, they do not have voting power to control the salary and allowances of these officers. So friends, now can you tell me what is the meaning of appropriation bill? So now you can say that appropriation bill contains all the expenditures done by Government of India. Okay, and appropriation bill has two parts: charge expenditures and demand for grant by various ministries. Okay, similarly, what is a finance bill? So finance bill contains all the taxes which Government of India will impose in the coming financial year. Okay. Now friends, I want to ask one more question to you. So my question is that which type of bill is appropriation bill and which type of bill is finance bill? So can you remember friends, I taught you about the types of bills. Okay, so I taught you that there is a type of bill known as ordinary bill. There is a bill known as money bill. There is a bill known as finance bill category A, finance bill category B, constitutional amendment bill. So which type of bill is appropriation bill and which type of bill is finance bill? So kindly pause the video and give your answer in the comment section. Then I will tell you that what is a appropriation bill and what is a finance bill, means what is their category. So friends, appropriation bill and money bill, appropriation bill and finance bill, both of them are actually money bill. Okay, so now you can say that appropriation bill is also a money bill and finance bill is also a money bill. Now friends, here I want to make one thing very clear, that please do not confuse this finance bill with those categories which I have taught you in the class in which I taught you about the categories of bill. So this is not finance bill category A or finance bill category B. The name of this bill is finance bill and this bill is a type of money bill. Okay, so the name of this bill is as finance bill, but this is not finance bill category A or category B. Only the name of this bill is finance bill, and this bill is a type of money bill. Similarly, appropriation bill is also a money bill, and finance bill is also a money bill. Now friends, whenever I am saying that appropriation bill is a money bill or finance bill is a money bill, then instantly in your mind all the features of money bill should come instantly. Okay, why? Because you should know that what a money bill means. So when you are very clear with the meaning of money bill, then you will be able to answer all the features of appropriation bill and finance bill as well. Okay, so whenever I am saying that appropriation bill is a money bill or finance bill is a money bill, then instantly all the features of money bill should come to your mind. So if you have not watched the class in which I taught you about the types of bills, then instantly go and watch that class. Now friends, after this there is one more very important topic which is known as votes on account. So what is this votes on account? So friends, earlier what was the practice that budget was generally presented in Parliament on the last working day of February. Okay, so this was the earlier practice, that the budget was presented on the last working day of February. Okay, so now this practice is discontinued. So currently what happens, that the budget is presented in the beginning of February itself. For example, this year's budget was presented on 1st of February. Okay, so this year budget was presented on the 1st of February. So now this practice is discontinued, but some times back this practice was there in the India. Okay, so what happened, that the budget was presented on the last working day of February by the finance minister. Okay, so what happens, that passing a budget is a very long process. So in the next class I will teach you about the process of passing the budget. Then you will see that the budget passing is a very long process. So it takes time. It is a time consuming process. Okay, a lot of discussion is needed, lot of voting is needed. Okay, lot of analysis is needed. So budget passing is a time consuming process, and if the budget is being introduced on the last working day of February, means the entire February is gone. Okay, so the next month is March, and after March the next month is April, and after April the next month is May. Okay, and it takes at least 2.5 to 3 months. Okay, or we can say it takes at least 2 to 3 months for the passing of budget. Okay, means if the budget is being introduced on the last working day of February, then we can say that budget will be passed in the month of May, because it will at least take 2 to 3 months for the complete passage of budget. So if the budget is being introduced on the last working day of February, so what happens, that definitely we can say that it will be passed in the month of May. Now friends, remember in the last class I taught you about the concept of financial year. Okay, so if the budget is being presented in the month of in the month of February, let's say February 2021. Okay, so if the budget is being presented in the month of February 2021. Okay, so for just now, just assume that the budget is presented on the last working day of February. Okay, so if the budget is presented in the month of February 2021, then February 2021 will come under financial year 2020-2021. Similarly, March 2021 will also come under financial year 2020-2021. Okay, so till here there is no problem, because this is the ongoing financial year. Okay, this is the current financial year. But the problem begins when the month of April begins. Why the problem begins? Problem begins because April will come under the financial year 2021-2022. Similarly, the month of May will also come under financial year 2021-2022. Okay. Now friends, what government is doing and what parliament is doing? So parliament and government, okay, so parliament is actually passing the budget for financial year 2021-2022. Okay. And the month of April and the month of May, both of these months comes under financial year 2021-2022. Means the budget is still not passed for the month of April and the budget is still not passed for the month of May. Okay. Now friends, remember in the class of Consolidated Fund of India, I taught you that no money can be withdrawn from Consolidated Fund of India without the permission of Parliament. So here government is busy in taking the permission of parliament. So basically passing of budget means taking the permission of parliament. Okay, and without the permission of parliament, government cannot even withdraw a single penny from consolidated fund of India. So how the government will run the administration of country in the month of April and in the month of May? Okay, so what is the problem? The problem is that how the government will run the administration of country in the month of April and in the month of May. Why? Because both of these months come under financial year 2021-2022 and the budget is still not passed for both of these months. Okay, the budget is still not passed for financial year 2021-2022. Okay, why? Because the process is going on. So from where the government will arrange money? So the solution is votes on account. Okay, so are you understanding the problem? I am again repeating the problem for you. The problem is that the month of April and the month of May, both of them will come under financial year 2021-2022. But the problem is that the budget is still not passed for this financial year, means financial year 2021-2022. Okay, and without the passage of budget, government cannot withdraw a single penny, a single rupee from consolidated fund of India. So from where government will arrange money for both of these months? From where government will arrange money? Because government needs money for running the administration of country. So the answer of this problem is votes on account. So what is basically votes of account? So friends, here you can see that government needs money for 2 months of next financial year. Okay, now how many months are there in a year? So there are total 12 months in a year. Okay, so if you will divide 2 by 12, okay, if you will divide 2 by 12, then what will you get? You will get 1 by 6. Okay, so this is simple maths. 2 1 ja 2, 2 6 ja 12. Okay, so if you will divide 2 by 12, you will get 1 by 6. So what happens? What happens in votes on account? That parliament grants 1 by 6th of total budget demanded by the government of India for next 2 months. Okay, so what happens? That parliament approves that government can now withdraw 1 by 6 of total amount which is demanded by the government in the budget for the next 2 months, means for the month of April and for the month of May. Okay, so a provision has been given in the constitution empowering the Lok Sabha to approve any grant in advance in the form of votes on account to allow the government to carry on with the expenditure until the budget is formally and completely passed. Okay, so what will happen? So I am again telling you what will happen, that Lok Sabha has this power. So what Lok Sabha will do, that Lok Sabha will give permission. Okay, so what is basically votes on account? That Lok Sabha will give permission to the government of India. Lok Sabha, okay, so let's suppose that the government has demanded a total of 90 trillion rupees. So here we are just supposing that government has demanded a total of 90 trillion rupees for the financial year 2021-2022. Okay, now Lok Sabha knows that government also needs money for running the administration of country in the month of April and in the month of May. Okay, so what Lok Sabha will say, Lok Sabha will give permission to the government to withdraw 19/6 trillion rupees. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to multiply this number by 1 by 6. Okay, why? Because you are using the amount for only 2 months. So 2 months is 1/6. Okay, so 2 months is a 1/6 part of a year. Okay, so 2 months actually represents the 1/6 part of a year. Okay, so here I showed you the simple mathematics calculation that 2 months represents 1/6 part of a year. So what Lok Sabha says, that if you need money for 1/6 part of a year, then withdraw 1/6 amount of money which you are demanding for entire year. So if government has demanded 19 trillion rupees, so now Lok Sabha will give permission to government to withdraw 19/6. Okay, 19/6 trillion rupees for running the administration of country in the month of April and May. Okay, so this is the special power of Lok Sabha. Votes on account is conducted only in Lok Sabha. This is not the power of Rajya Sabha. This is the special power of Lok Sabha. Okay. And what happens that no voting and no discussion is conducted in even in Lok Sabha on votes of account. Okay. So it is just formally passed by Lok Sabha that government can use this much amount of money. Okay. So you have to remember that basically what happens that no discussion is conducted on votes of account and even no voting is conducted on votes on account. It is just formally passed by Lok Sabha that government, that you can imagine like that government has just given permission, Lok Sabha has just given permission to the government to withdraw 90.6 trillion rupees for its expenditure in the month of April and May. So friends, now if I ask you that what is votes on account, then now can you tell me that what is votes on account? So let us revise it quickly. So now you can say that sir, earlier what happened that the budget was presented on the last working day of February. So it was passed till May, but the month of April and May are in the next financial year for which the budget is being passed. So what happens that Lok Sabha has this power. Lok Sabha authorizes or Lok Sabha gives the permission to the government to withdraw 1/6 amount of the total budget. Okay, why? Because 2 months represents 1/6 of a year. So Lok Sabha authorizes the government, Lok Sabha gives permission to government to withdraw 1/6 of the amount, okay, which government is demanding for next financial year to withdraw from Consolidated Fund of India so that government can easily run the administration of country for these next 2 months. Okay, and remember that no discussion takes place on votes on account and no voting takes place on vote on account. Okay, it is just formally passed by Lok Sabha. For example, Lok Sabha has just said the government that go and withdraw the money and run the administration of the country. So this is the concept of votes on account. But friends, to avoid, okay, so this was some little bit problematic. So to avoid this problem, what current government has done that now the government has just changed the system. So now what is the system that now budget is presented in parliament in the early February. Early February means, for example, you can say that this year's budget means the budget for financial year 2021-2022, it was presented by finance minister on 1st of February. Okay, so it was passed in the it was presented in the on 1st of February. Okay, so we can say that the budget of this year was presented by the finance minister on 1st of February itself. So it means that now parliament has entire month of February. Okay, so what happened that this year the budget was passed on 17th of March 2021. Okay, so it was introduced, presented on 1st of February and it was passed on 17th of March 2021. So now definitely the month of February and month of March, okay, they are the part of financial year, means the ongoing financial year. Okay, so now there is no need. So what happened that on 17th of March budget was ready, budget was passed, means now there was no need for votes on account. There was no need for the approval of this amount for the month of April and May. Okay, so this is a very good thing so that government can avoid this problem. So this was something problematic. Okay, and there was a need that Lok Sabha has to authorize the government to withdraw some amount for running the administration of country for 2 months. Okay, so this was known as votes on account. And remember this thing that votes on account was neither discussed nor voted. It was just formally passed by Lok Sabha. Okay, formally passed means Lok Sabha has said to the government that now you go, okay, we are giving you permission, go and withdraw the amount for next 2 months. Okay, and the value of this amount is equal to 1/6 of the total amount which you have demanded in the current budget. So this was the meaning of votes on account. So friends, that's all for today. I hope that you all must have enjoyed the lecture. Now in the next class, I will discuss about the entire process of passing the budget and then the topic of budget will be completed. So friends, I hope that you all must have enjoyed the lecture, and if you have enjoyed the lecture then please like the video, comment, subscribe the channel, press the bell icon and select all. Friends, take care of yourself, stay indoors, stay healthy. Now we will meet in next class. Till then, take care of yourself. Thank you.